live from Miami this week. Valentine's Day weekend. We came down here. This is Kate's kind of her Christmas and birthday and Valentine's gift. Coming back to the Carillon Hotel. So this is, I don't know, when did we come down here the first time? Was it like 2015?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a wellness spa place we came to 10 or 11 years ago, and it's awesome. So they have a great gym, hotel, and probably the coolest like locker room spa area with your hot tubs and saunas and all different types of things like that. So
Showers.
yeah, like you go through like a car wash, you push a button, it's awesome. So this is one of our favorite places. We haven't been down here for a long time. I don't know, it's been a few years, so I have trouble buying presents for Kate. So this is what I got. And I enjoy this present too. So so yeah, we're here, and this is like a Valentine's Day, I guess, edition of the podcast. So Kate wanted to just talk about relationships in relation, I guess, to just overall health. And before we did this, she thought it would be cool as part of like the podcast too. Just kind of got us a one-off session with like a telehealth,
Like a relationship counselor.
Yeah. To just do like a one-off session and do that. And I thought we got some cool nuggets out of that. And it was just like some things to like work on. And it was also part of, we talked about like having some bullet points and stuff for the podcast. You want to talk a little bit about that session?
So what I thought was interesting, I mean, I feel like I wanted to do a check-in on just like where we were at and if we were doing well. And I mean, I think that's so subjective, but I asked her right off the bat, like, how can you tell if a relationship's healthy? Like if she's kind of interviewing a couple, you know, what are some things that she looks at? And I thought it was pretty interesting. She said, you know, what is said and what is not said. And she said oftentimes, like what couples do not say to each other ends up harming the relationship a lot more than even what's said. So everyone knows that like fighting and saying mean things is not helpful, but a lot of just like stuffing down emotions and resentment getting built up is what she finds is much more common and kind of like a silent killer, so to speak, in relationships. And so, you know, we're kind of just doing a check-in ourselves. And, you know, I think everybody likes to kind of have a grade in a way. Like that's why you kind of get to midlife, we're all getting our blood tested, blood work done, or whether it's a fitness test and you're trying to see your age. Like everyone's really kind of obsessed with like their, you know, the chronological age being older than their actual like fitness age. And then, you know, I was just thinking about relationships. Like, I think we all want to know, is our relationship healthy? Are we doing a good job? Like what to look for? And so, you know, she got into like right into the stuff with us and really just asking us questions like, you know, what aren't you happy with? And that had so much more to do with intimacy. And she is a relationship counselor, but a lot of this is like your sexual intimacy and health and how that plays in a role. And surprisingly enough, or not surprising, it really has a lot. Intimacy has much more to do with like how you feel about each other than the actual act of sex, is like what she was kind of getting into with us. Like, so, you know, we were just talking about some issues that we have, and I think they're kind of common issues, probably with people in a relationship that have kids, just not having the day-to-day like grind you down. You know, we are talking about that and some actionable items that we could do with our kids, taking more ownership and being more responsible for themselves, so it didn't take so much of our energy, whether it's getting them ready for school or bed, because that's where a lot of our issues revolve around. And just a common dynamic between, like, I think,
the mornings and nights. That's what
yes,
I mean
yeah,
for parents, at least for us, and that's what it's always been. If I could just boil it down real simple,
yeah,
90% of our problems and issues are on the bookends of the day. So first thing in the morning, we're like getting kids up ready for school and then getting them down and getting them to bed. But it's not the kids being bad necessarily. It's the
the stress of it.
yeah, it's remembering all the stuff because we're packing up our day to get out the door for what we're doing at work, and then we're packing their day up, and then the evening again, it's like tearing everything back down and trying to get everyone to bed on time so we all feel good, and the stress it kind of creates around that. Um, we have different for us. I think the issues is like we have different speeds we like to move at in the morning and in the evening, and you definitely are. You have a different type of energy early in the day, like than I do, and
Go straight into fifth gear.
yeah, and I like a slower kind of morning, and that will cause issues.
So
And
kind of meeting in the middle there.
yeah, trying to figure out how we can not butt heads uh, first thing in the morning or in the evening. You have again, I'm a little more relaxed, and you want to get to bed a little bit earlier, and then you have a real sense of urgency to get everything together. I have less of one. Um, so it causes, yeah, that's where we have most of our problems on a day-to-day basis. Um,
And I think, I wanted to also bring this up because I think a lot of you watching are very disciplined people. And I will start to drive myself crazy because I start to run on a clock all the time. My mind is always working on a clock. So if I need to be out the door, I oftentimes have my first client at 7:30 a.m. I need to check emails, notes. I have a hard time like sleeping in even till 5 or 5:30, and then my day just goes. And it's good. It keeps me productive, but it also makes me go like insane. So I think, there's something to be said about being disciplined, being organized. And I think that's very helpful for me to bring that to the relationship because you can kind of be unorganized, not really like kind of procrastinating, but it's also good for me to learn how to relax.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you can kind of take the best parts of your partner and you guys can kind of meet in the middle, that's where a lot of issues arise rather than just kind of ignoring each other and going and doing your opposite thing. I think kind of meeting in the middle and
Bridging that gap a little bit.
yeah, and just kind of taking the best parts of each other. So she came up with like a list of kind of things for us to work on. And then we both meditate every day. That's something she asked us about, from like the mindfulness piece. And then just doing something like when we're trying to be intimate a few times a week, like doing a mindfulness practice right before that to help kind of tap into each other a little better. And I think that was kind of cool. I got a lot out of that meeting. And she also sent us like a checklist of things to work on. And one of those was like a weekly meeting, like a marriage kind of meeting to check in. And we did that a few days ago. And so I thought I'd share that as well. The checkpoints that she gave us in our weekly meeting. One thing that you appreciate about the other person, one thing that felt off, and something I need. So it's very, very simple, but I think very easy to execute on. Something else that she said that she looks at is how you recover as a couple from arguments or fights or disagreements, and if that repair happens as a team or if it's like one person always apologizing. That's really important. So both people feel engaged and you feel like you're on equal ground. And that came up with us too, like, because I'm always go, go, go. Brandon will kind of feel like I'm his coach, or he's my subordinate. And at home, it I think this is a common dynamic with women and men because we kind of run the household. I mean, it's sexist, but it's a very very common dynamic. And to not feel that way, like what he can do to kind of step into his power and be a more active player there too.
Yeah. Yep. um, yeah, I thought a lot of that stuff was really helpful. I think the biggest thing is just if any time with like a list that you can stay ahead of things a little bit. So something's starting to bubble and you've got, it can seem almost a little forced or like oh, we have a check-in. But and I have that with meetings at the gym. Like we have a meeting a Monday, a weekly staff meeting, and then we have one bi-weekly that is kind of planning for the future and things like that. And sometimes they're not convenient, and all these meetings aren't. But the cadence of them keeps the whole business organized, and without them, things fall apart. I see other like businesses and things that just don't communicate that way, or they just kind of like tackle fires on big like group texts and stuff as they come. All those meetings, like it's like I always think about like this marriage meeting or that staff meeting, almost how if you've seen in kitchens, like chefs will like break down the whole menu and night to the kitchen and how everything's going to go. So they have a plan of attack.
Expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of what I get at if I can
Yeah.
like conceptualize it and think about it. And it's just like you start to stay ahead of issues and problems, and you're out there communicating.
Almost
With
treating
it.
like your marriage like it is. I mean, it's not like a business, or your home's not a business, but if you think about like the health of it, like
Yeah.
running it like that, where you need to take care of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something we noticed we kind of ran into during COVID time, just because it was a really difficult time for us, with the gyms being closed down. And we started doing more mindfulness practices, working on our mental health. And what really came up was our relationship, almost just like we neglected it a little bit. I felt like you just didn't pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we love each other. It's okay. We'll be fine. And I think probably a lot of couples run into that. Like, why do we need to go through all this work and have these marriage meetings? Or we're fine. We love each other.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a good relationship, you got to work on it, like your
Yeah.
fitness, like anything else.
Yeah. All right, we're back. I had to take a little station break. I'm looking at my phone, and texts from the gym are going off. We have a urinal overflowing at the gym, and I was just telling John at the desk, I don't care if it's 2 a.m. I got to know about that. And that water damage stops everything. So my dad's headed over there right now, and hopefully we can get that under control. Um, but yeah, the gym never stops, so that's always going, even when we're out of town. So it's part of the thing. It's okay. Um, where were we?
Just talking about, I think, actionable items this therapist gave us, and what she, again, kind of to circle back on, like repairing as a team, like if you get into arguments or you have issues. And that was a big theme. And then also just to like do everything as a team. So even say this issue that popped up from the gym, like kind of to come in on it together as a team, rather than one person just handle this or the other person pieces out and does their own thing. It unites you more. You guys are both working towards a common goal, and that's what kind of connects you. So, whether it's an issue at home with the kids, misbehaving, or just things that just even like fun things that you're planning, whether if you're planning a vacation, like to work on it together as a team. So everyone feels included and connected. And that's as big a part of intimacy as the actual act of being intimate.
Yeah. 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 I thought that meeting was good. I got a lot out of it. It's something like I wouldn't, you do a good job of like, hey, I really want us to sign us up. Like, I would not go out of my way to like set something up like, we weren't having big marital issues or problems like headed into that meeting or anything. I'm like, oh, okay, just like a one-off random
Well,
relationship
yeah,
counseling meeting that is
yeah,
just like on the books. I'm like, okay. Um,
but
not
yeah,
usually how I want to spend like just a
yeah,
random hour of like my Wednesday afternoon or whatever it was. But it was cool. It like helped us set up some things for even like this trip and set the tone for it. And I think things getting out of your comfort zone, people like taking a cooking class or, whatever it is, like doing things as a couple that might not be exactly your jam all the time. Like, what would you rather be doing? Like playing video game, whatever it is. I think it's good to do that, especially as we get older, stay organized, stay on top of things. So, uh, you know, you can keep building that strong foundation. It doesn't get like eroded over time. I
yeah,
think things like that are good for it.
yeah.
So,
And to that point, um, I've I've worked with a lot of different therapists over the years, and one thing that I hear, at least when couples are coming in, they usually wait until the relationship is over. Like when by the time they get to them, because they wait till they have major
yeah,
problems,
it's in
and
shambles.
then
That's
it's
that's
like,
normally when people would actually
yeah,
sign up for that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So whether, it's like we talk a lot about health on here, and the same thing with your relationship health, to always work on it before you have problems, to be like proactive, to always be working on your health before you get really overweight and you have diabetes, or you have all
Mm-hmm.
these, you have high blood pressure, you have all these scares. So just stay ahead of it all the time. And it's not fun to do that all the time. It's uncomfortable to do. Like, I was a little anxious about this meeting. I thought it was cool, but we've gone to therapy. Probably the last time we went to like traditional talk therapy, it was when we were engaged, and it really was hard on our relationship. We actually just quit going because it brought up all of our problems, all of our crap. And then it was super uncomfortable, and we didn't have a lot of tools to work through it then. And we were just, we were 12 years younger. So it was kind of cool to like talk, like bring up issues with this therapist and have us like work through it. I can feel like how far we've come just as people, as a couple, and like being able to communicate without getting just so pissed off. You're fighting, where
Mm-hmm.
you can both kind of meet in the middle. And our actionable item is really, I think, for me to kind of slow down and kind of calm myself down. Um, and what were yours from it?
I don't know. I'm
You
sorry.
did real
I
well.
No, I don't. I don't remember like what like your. I think it was like stuff that we like that meeting, and we had some things to work on. Not like
It was a
I don't.
day to day thing.
Oh, I think it was like maybe being. Uh, it was being more proactive with maybe asking you how I could help with uh, kind of like the chores and dishes and stuff around the house. Um, because some of that is like off my radar in the way that it's just like I'm not even seeing it or noticing it, and you are, and you're building some like resentment towards maybe me not doing some cleaning things or whatever it is, and it was something in regards to I think uh, asking how I could help because I'm not necessarily just going to be as proactive on the laundry or dishes or whatever it was. So that's what I think it
Yeah.
was. Sorry. I guess
Yeah.
I'm not winning that session right now, but
I think it helps to have a third person too when they're asking
yeah.
you like what could you do better, or how do you view, just someone that doesn't have any skin in the game to kind of come in then you can tell them honestly, like, here's what I do. I get on Brandon. I do, like, I harp on him. I know that that's an issue. There's just this frustrating situation. But then I think it helped for you to, like, she asked you, like, okay, well, how do you feel about this? And you're like, well, I kind of do the bare minimum I can to not get in trouble. But for you to say that, then I think it brings, like, okay, this is the truth. It's just hard for me to admit that in this situation where you feel like you're battling together, like neither of you wants to be wrong. It helps to have a third person in there where you can really objectively look at yourself and say, this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do that and be vulnerable with a person. It's just hard, in any family, like whether it's your spouse or your brother or your mother or your dad, it's hard when you have that relationship over so many years to, like, be vulnerable with them and admit where you're wrong. I think it's easier with a third party.
Yeah. I mean, they're able to help. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're able to bring the stuff up to the surface that kind of needs to be talked about. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be super against doing it again at some point, down the line. I think at least where we're at, it's not something I necessarily want to do all the time and meet with people and on these Zoom calls and kind of, go through all of that if we don't have to. But I think bringing some other people in to help if you're starting to run into issues is definitely a good thing. And to stay ahead of things is good. Uh, I read that book, The Outwit by Peter Attia, who recently was named in the Epstein files. Seriously was.
From grace.
But in that book, that whole book and how he exploded as a celebrity in this health space is how people can, there's these main killers, and it's more or less like staying ahead of it. It's like, once you've ran into diabetes and once you've ran into this and once you've ran into that, now you're in the hole, and it's a lot harder to dig yourself out. And the whole book is about how to stay ahead of this and basically add another 20 years of at least, like, good quality life where you're not just managing illnesses and things like that.
It's kind of consistently doing things you don't have to do. Yep. Like, even when you were just like, I don't want to do those meetings all the time, but then you're like, well, we should probably do the meeting. And it's doing that, like getting up, we're going to go out on a run. We probably don't really feel like it right now, but we're going to go do it. And is doing those things. And then, drinking water when you want to keep drinking more coffee, like stopping the fun thing before it reaches its detriment and doing the healthy thing. And it's consistently doing that all the time.
So I shouldn't drink this right before our run today?
It's all up to you. I mean, you're going to go, you're a little dehydrated, dehydrate more, then go sweat some more.
Because then I'm going to do the sauna. All right. Yeah, I don't want to be in our hotel room that much longer today, shooting this podcast, because I'm looking outside at the ocean and it looks really nice, and I want to get out there and run. So we're going to wrap this podcast up a little bit early. Check in with your partner, see what they need.
Marriage. So the weekly marriage meeting to recap is one thing you appreciate about the other person, one thing that felt off, and something I need. Yep. And then that was really helpful for us, I think, to both, like, talk about the thing that we appreciated, and just to notice each other, like, hey, you felt off this week because you were going through this thing.
Yeah.
And that you're just recognizing what's going on with them, and that you feel seen.
All right. We will see you guys next week.